Welcome fellow Quest heads and VR lovers, this is Eyes on VR, where we're all about in-depth reviews, VR news, but today we're going to do our first comparison between PCVR and the Oculus Quest 2, and we have chosen to go with Onward. Okay, I'm pretty sure I've never seen that sign in my entire life. Or that one. Whoa, who the f*** is that? What the fuck? Hey man, are you good? That was pretty close, these AI are... Whoa, look out! Oh, you're welcome. Dude, you should probably move. Oh, jeez. Man, that effect was good. I think I see I hear him, I think. Oh yeah, I see him. Oh! Ah! Get down! Get out of here! Man, I love that bullet hit effect. See, this is what I'm talking about, Onward. Why do I need to be on the PC to have an M1911 that looks like this? Contractors have done this on the Quest from the start. I think we might be pinned down. Yep, I can't hear a whole bunch of anything. They've changed the difficulty on this AI, there's no doubt. Isn't this on Rookie? Now, I love Onward. Onward is probably my most played game on any Quest that I've had, and I had the first one, and obviously I've got the second one. Contractors is bloody close behind Onward, but I think Onward just takes it a little bit more with the playtime. So, really excited to see what the differences are here, and I will tell you right now, I'm gonna talk a lot about what makes the PC VR version amazing, because I've only ever played Onward on a Quest, never on PC until the first time, literally like last week when I first ever played it. And I'm gonna talk about a lot of those differences here, and I'm gonna be gushing over the PC VR version, but I just wanna say, Quest heads, when it comes to playing this game, you are not missing out compared to being on the Quest or on PC VR. The Quest version is still great, it's still good, and it plays exactly the same. But for me, there is one big difference that shows how these versions aren't very similar at all in that respect. It's this one big thing, and I'm going to talk about that later on in the video. The thing with Onward on PC VR is it's little tiny quality of life touches that you can't push on the Quest 2 just because of memory restrictions or RAM restrictions, graphical restrictions. It's those little quality of life touches that give PC VR so much more realism and impact when you're playing it. I know PC VR players say that they don't like Onward's graphics anymore because it looks so much like the Quest version, and I completely disagree with that. And right now, I'm gonna start at the beginning. And that was the first time I fired up the game and got into the main menu, and I came in, you know, I have to do the tutorial, so there's no big menu screen there, there's just a little box. And I come into the menu and I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen this menu a million times on the Quest. And then suddenly I'm like, whoa, who the f is that? What the f is that? Who the f is that? I mean, there's guys wandering around everywhere. If you look in the sky, there's Chinooks going by, there's jets flying overhead. It's so much more busy in the PC VR menu screen than the Quest. There's more detail, there's more things on the floor and around, the textures are higher quality. That was one of the first things I noticed was when you look at boxes and things, and that instantly blew my mind, because more to the fact is how high res the character models were on these AI. By the way, Marsoc AI that I'd never seen before in my life, because it's always Volk that you see in co-op or when you're spectating. So let's dive into that as well. Now, when you're looking at enemies like in co-op and you're looking at Volk, way higher res character models. way higher res, completely clear. They've got gas masks on. Their guns are completely rendered perfectly like they would be for any weapon that you were holding. Whereas in the Quest version, one of the legs is always extended for some reason. The weapons are just as low poly and low detail as you can possibly get. And like I say, you know, it's all saving space for the Quest, saving RAM, you know, making it run smoothly. Totally get it. But woof, it is quite a big difference. I'll cover this now as well to get it out of the way. Sound. This game sounds exactly the same. PC, Quest, doesn't matter. It sounds exactly the same. So let's take a look at the fun stuff. Let's have a look at the gun models. So I'm going to show on screen a sort of pan over a pistol and a rifle from side to side on PCVR, and then on the Quest, so you can see the differences. And now the differences aren't all that big when it comes to the rifles here. The texturing is a little nicer, a little sharper, and it's got a bit more reflective sort of surfaces on it to reflect light around. But apart from that, rifles are still about the same, to be honest. I think the improvements for the Quest 2 really improved things there, and the rifles don't look that much better. It's just more the sort of lighting and reflection that makes them look better. But there's one big weapon difference for me here. I always wondered and avoided using the M1911 in Onward on the Quest because it looked like a toy. And I always wondered in PCVR, does it look the same? Because I thought, who made this model? Who did this? It looks horrible. And on the PCVR version, no, it is not the same. It's not the same. It looks much more real, it looks much better, and yeah, I used it all the time. I love me an M1911, I'm a sucker for it, you know. They haven't got any SIGs, so M1911 is a next best choice. And while we're in the beginning tent, look at the Quest table here and the PC table. The dynamic lighting and the little bump in textures makes all the difference. Now, I talked about little quality of life touches, and that's what I'm gonna have a look at now. And those things are stuff like when you shoot things in the Quest, you get some bullet holes sometimes, but then that's it. You don't really get any texture reaction or surface reaction. You know, you're not going to get a different bullet hole depending on whether you hit glass or whether you hit wood or whatever. It's all pretty much the same. But on PCVR, you get this splash of dust and sort of debris. And I think that adds a lot. Don't get me wrong, it's not always different. It's still sometimes, often, pretty much the same no matter what surface you hit. But it really does add to the impact and add to the realism of the game. And when I first saw it, I was like, wow. Because I mean, when you get in a gunfight in the Quest, you can see bullets flying and you can see bullet holes appearing, and that's fine. You know, it's intense. You're like, ah, the tunnel vision's kicking in. It's all crazy. But when you go to PCVR, you get all that smoke kicking off of surfaces. You can see exactly where those bullets are hitting. Because I know sometimes in Onward, I've been in a firefight, the bullets are whizzing past me, and I'm like, where are they hitting? I don't know what's happening, you know. But no, in PCVR, whew, yeah, all that smoke and debris starts flying everywhere, and it's so much more intense. And while we're talking about the little things, the little quality of life touches that you might not notice unless you're looking for them, but this one is my favorite by far. When you see a fellow player firing or you're firing, you just get that little, exactly accurate, puff of smoke come out the ejection chamber on your gun. And I think that's brilliant. That really does add to the realism. This game has always promoted its realism, and on the Quest, obviously, it's not quite there with those things, so it's really nice to see that they are living up to sort of this promise of realism that they've made. When it comes to gameplay, it's exactly the same. There's really no difference. There's no difference. Running around and shooting guys, everyone takes the same amount of hits as they do on the Quest version. Everyone moves the same as they do on the Quest version. There's no difference. When it comes to the core mechanics and core gameplay of this game, on PC or Quest, they're not different. They're exactly the same. And I think that is something that Downpour have delivered on, and that's one of the best parts of the game, is the gameplay, and they've completely delivered on that. So, you know, well done to them for that, because that's great. Now we're getting on to the big boy of a difference, and honestly, that big boy of difference, it's not the textures that look better per se, it's the atmosphere. The atmosphere is totally different, and there's really no better example of that, I think, than Downfall. Downfall's big, huge, it's a massive desert and all of that stuff. On the Quest, it just looks kind of plain, you know? But it's the lighting that comes in with the PCVR version. That atmosphere that comes in, damn, it makes a big difference. And the Quest does have that sort of light mapping sometimes, but it doesn't react with anything. You know, when you're moving your weapon around in the light, you can see the reflection come off it. But if you look out into the desert of Downfall, you can see that atmosphere and you can see that difference. The chopper in the middle of the map. On the Quest 2, the shot down, burned out chopper, it's just there. On the PCVR version, it's there, but it's smoking, it's sizzling, you know, you see it, you feel that. Suburbia is a great example of that as well. Things are on fire in Suburbia. You don't see that on the Quest, but 2 of the buildings are on fire. And that's what it is for me, it's the atmosphere. You know, the things you didn't know, this is on fire, or that's smoking, or, you know, there's all these signs everywhere as well. You know, in Bazaar, there's a map everyone knows, Bazaar. And if you look on the Quest version, it's there, it's fine, you know, great. But on the PC version, there's these like illuminated signs, there's big signs overhead, there's this, there's that, the trees look better, the rugs look better. You know, there's just so much more atmosphere and world building here. You really see all the stuff they've cut out to make this game work on the Quest, and they've done really well. Most of the differences here are literally just ways of shrinking down the game size or shrinking down the RAM intake and then getting it over to the Quest. They've just taken out puffs of smoke here and a sign over there, or a draw distance here, and the bullets even look different. The bullets on the Quest look very plain, kind of like Nerf bullets, whereas the bullets on the PC, you know, they're shiny, they're gold, they're brass, you know, they are what bullets look like. So they've just literally made these tiny little changes to just make it run smoother on hardware that isn't capable for it. And I know everyone's sat here thinking, well, obviously that's what they've done. Yeah, of course, but now you've seen it, and for those of you that can't or won't play it on the Quest, I hope that you've seen all these differences and you realize that, yeah, it does look better. I mean, there was a time when I held a smoke grenade in the like dawn light on Bazaar, and I was like, this is the best looking smoke grenade I've ever seen in my life with this lighting and shadow. But at the end of the day, playing it is no different. If you are playing someone on PCVR, or if you're on PCVR playing someone who's on the Quest, there's no difference in gameplay here. No one's cheating, no one has extra advantages. If anything, I think PCVR have a disadvantage because they've got all these extra signs and sort of models in their way when they're trying to fire at things. But gameplay is the same. I just wanted to show you visually what you're missing out on and whether you really think it's worth getting the game on PCVR if you can run it. Also, to note is that Onward has some of the lowest recommended specifications to run a VR game on PCVR. I think it only needs a GTX 970 as its recommended settings, and you know, that is not a very expensive graphics card considering what is out there. So I use Virtual Desktop to play Onward on PCVR on my Oculus Quest 2 wirelessly, and it was amazing. I will do a follow-up video about Virtual Desktop, how to set it up, and what my thoughts are on Virtual Desktop. I hope you've enjoyed the video and the comparison. If you did, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe down below, and leave me a comment letting me know whether you think it would be worth getting the PCVR version over the Quest version, or which one you prefer and why. This is Eyes on VR. My name is Rex. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.